Haschel is a talented martial artist and a master of the Rouge School martial arts technique, which explains why he's soon going to star in the new remake of One Punch Man, in a twist that can only be described as shocking. Haschel ultimately becomes the Purple Dragoon. He mobilizes his electric magic as well as his skills in hand-to-hand combat to omni-sweep up the competition. He's proof that old dogs can learn new tricks, and they can do them better than the Zoomers that keep making fun of them on TikTok. So today, we're going to examine Haschel's battle potential. We ask, how great is Haschel actually? Haschel's human form has tremendous strengths. Offensively, he's often initially underestimated by players as he does not get his Dragoon spirit until around a quarter of the way through the game, but even without it, he is a tremendous contributor to battle damage. His physical might is his strongest suit, and as he grows, the dominance of his stats when compared to his allies also grows. He starts with great attack, although his additions see some slow growth in power, particularly given his late entry. However, his later additions, particularly his final 3, have huge damage multipliers that enhance his attack damage markedly. His final addition is the second strongest in the game. Just as importantly, his weapons are quite powerful and they deserve some individual attention, because not only do they have great attack stats, but many of them also have unique effects. For random battles, his Beast Fang causes the stun status, preventing enemy attacks for 3 turns, and his Brass Knuckle can cause instant death, but the Thunder Fist, his second best weapon, can, for some battles, be a downgrade. The Thunder Fist deals electric elemental damage. The electric element has no opposite, meaning the weapon will not get enhanced damage against any enemies, but against electric enemies, it will do less damage than many weaker weapons as its attack will be resisted. And unfortunately, there are a couple of Thunder-based bosses and plenty of Thunder-based standard enemies that will be damaged less when Haschel attacks with this weapon. But his most unique weapon is his final weapon, the Destroyer Mace. It's only available late in the game, but it's novel enough that it's worth discussing. This weapon has an already excellent attack stat of 55, but at half health, the weapon deals 50% more damage, and at a quarter health, the weapon deals 100% more damage, effectively doubling its attack stat. This allows Haschel to be played in a high-risk, high-reward glass cannon playstyle. This playstyle might make Haschel prefer teammates like Albert, who can reduce the damage he takes and prolong his life, rather than a healer like Meru or Shanna. Their healing is anti-synergistic with his final weapon effect and will ultimately reduce his power. While he certainly isn't my first choice to throw consumable items, Meru or Shanna hold down magical offense quite well, he is on par with or better than all of the other characters in the game. And I say that because his offensive potential is bolstered by his fantastic speed stat of 60. He outspeeds all other characters except Meru and Shanna. However, he fills more of a physical attacker role than they do, so you can simply let them use up all of your consumable items and have Haschel focus on what he's best at, slapping his enemies into submission. And defensively, Haschel is not at all slothful. His health pool, while not gargantuan, is adequate, and his defensive stats are middle of the road, and because of his great speed stat, he could fit in some defend commands if absolutely necessary to ensure his survival. But most importantly, because he is of the purple element, he has no elemental weaknesses. Every other character has an opposing element that does extra damage to them and makes them a liability in certain boss battles. But Haschel is a consistent, albeit not perfect, defensive choice in every single boss battle in the game, particularly against those that use the electric element. So in human form, Haschel provides excellent physical damage, passable magic damage, and reasonably mixed defenses. Given his preference for physical attacks, his magical acumen is still quite impressive when compared to the other characters, and he can be used effectively to throw an attack item in a pinch. He is also lightning quick, and his speed enhances all of his other characteristics. This allows him to defend or heal as needed, which patches up his one weak point. Haschel's Dragoon form isn't one I use often. The reason is kind of a story. When I first played this game, I played it on the PlayStation 2. That was about 15 years ago, and the word Zoomer didn't even exist back then. Anyway, the PS2 had a funny quirk. Whenever you Dragooned on a specific battle, the entire game would freeze. It's kind of like what happened in the PS5 re-release, only it was just one battle. But I didn't know that as a kid, so I decided that I would just do an entire run where I didn't Dragoon at all. I was absolutely terrified that it would happen again. And that run made me realize how little Haschel needs his Dragoon spirit. However, if you don't want to limp through the game, there are a couple of compelling reasons to use Haschel's Dragoon form. Of course, an enemy might have have high physical defense, or you might need the defense boost the Dragoon form provides, but more importantly, you might wish to use a special transformation with another Dragoon to enhance their magic damage. This will force Haschel to transform. Which brings us to Haschel's Dragoon editions. These are powerful and they are a great source of damage. He gets a 150% base boost to his physical attack, and he uses it well to do great damage, making him an effective party member even after his MP has been drained. And his magic is also surprisingly strong. Haschel gets a 200% base magic bonus. This excellently supplements his already good magic stat. As far as the spells go, ignore the in-game numbers and use these ones, please. The devs totally messed up the in-game descriptions, and this video has the real deal. Haschel's first spell is Atomic Mind. This is a 25% single target attack spell, and honestly, it's not really worth using. Every other character in the game has more powerful spells, and this one just doesn't do much. His additions will be more powerful in almost every aspect. Thunder Kid is a 50% single target attack spell, and it's also not really worthwhile to use. Unfortunately, the MP cost is high compared to what other characters need for a similar level attack spell, so I wouldn't touch this one. Leave your kids out of this war. Yes, even the Thunder Kids. Thunder God is his third spell, and this is where things get spicy. It's a 75% power single target attack spell, and it costs 30 MP. Its damage output is on par with Dart's Final Burst, making it an excellent choice against any non-electric enemy. However, because it's the electric element, it gets no elemental boosts against any enemy. And if you need more information about how elements work, I put a lot of information about that in my tips and tricks for the Legend of Dragoon video, which I will put a link to in the doodly-doo. And I'll link it right here. In any case, Thunder God has a great MP cost to damage ratio, so if you special, this spell might be the play. It depends on how you set up Haschel's stats and which weapons you have available, because in some cases his Dragoon attack might be more powerful than this spell. Violet Dragon is his final spell, and this is a 100% power single enemy attack spell. It also does bonus damage because of the field effect all dragons create for themselves, and this spell is great to use for a burst of damage. Basically, if you're going to special anyway, have Haschel use this spell and use his physical additions for the rest of his turns. Now, you may have noticed something odd about Haschel's spells when compared to those of other characters. He only has single target attack spells, and he has no supportive utility. And this is actually a good thing. It allows Haschel to focus on what he's good at, offense. However, it also means that he's probably not great to pair with someone like Kongol. Kongol has the same role as Haschel, and the same role as Dart, for that matter, although Dart is forced to be in the party, so you can't fix that. But as I alluded to earlier, Haschel pairs best with more supportive teammates who can heal him, like Meru or Shanna, or to patch up his middling defenses, like Lavitz. So Haschel as a Dragoon is a good choice overall. Physically, he's quite adept, and his middling magic stat is propped up by his Dragoon bonuses. His weakness is his element, which does not allow him to get bonus damage for hitting enemies of the opposite alignment because electric doesn't have an opposite element. His element ultimately acts as a strength though, as he'll be quite bulky as a Dragoon as a result, and will receive no super effective damage from enemies. So overall, how great is Haschel actually? Well, he's not good. He's great! His strong offenses combined with his excellent speed stat allow him to get in lots of attacks, both physical and magical, and his unique weapon options and powerful additions only improve his potential. Compared to the other characters, he gets huge stat growth in every stat from the mid-late game, surpassing almost everyone, particularly when he has his final weapon equipped. While he can't provide healing or stat boosts, his offense is good enough that outsourcing support to another character is actually ideal. This frees him up to do what he's best at, bonking his enemies with his enormous man hands. Using him with Albert, Meru, or Shanna is a great way to unleash his maximum potential. And speaking of Shanna, if this video helped you, you should watch my guide on Shanna next. It's right here. Have fun playing the game, like the video, bye-bye!